Our investments fit usually into two broad buckets as far as the facts that we're looking for and the patterns that we're seeking out. And that is the first category, and I think the most interesting and most relevant maybe in our portfolio these days, is what I call business cycle investments. And that's cases where by following the ups and downs of an industry and the movement of capital across geographies and across industries, we can find investments in companies that are depressed on a cyclical basis, but which we think are therefore underappreciated in the long term. And there's several reasons these can be attractive investments, these business cycle investments. I would say number one, it's hard to fall out of the basement window, and if you do, you're probably not going to get hurt very much, which is another way of saying these businesses we think are already depressed, and if we've studied them, we think maybe that the downside is limited at this point. Number two, when an industry is depressed, in general, that means the profits are low, unattractive, the sentiment is low, and you don't have to worry about new competition coming up and attacking you. So, in general, these industries offer these opportunities are appealing because you have this great competitive clarity. If a business is depressed, less competition for the foreseeable future, it's probably a pretty stable, secure situation. And then number three, obviously, we think over time there could be upside, fundamental improvement and then valuation improvement. And again, these are fact patterns that we've sought out and been able to take advantage of for a long time now. The second bucket that we're active in and seeking out is what I would call secular growers, underappreciated growth situations. And these are generally companies that where we think the growth is inevitable, is they call it highly visible growth, and which we deem to be underappreciated, undervalued in the market. With respect to companies that we don't invest in, there's a lot to talk about there conceptually, but over call it our 25 plus years of working together as a team, we've developed a pretty good knowledge base of many businesses. And again, these are focused portfolios. Therefore, we eliminate or pass on the vast majority of things that we consider. When you get into the security level analysis, we have a checklist of dozens and dozens of factors that we think about as a basis for considering the strength of the business, the prospects of the business, and also the valuation. On balance, after we've done our fundamental analysis, we decide this is interesting. Maybe we'll keep track of it, or it might be interesting at a lower price, or just see how this company develops and see how our existing portfolio develops, and maybe we'll make a change over time. But we're not trading in and out of stocks. This is not a high turnover portfolio at all. For example, most of the time in most months, we don't make any large changes in the portfolio. So that's an important element that I maybe should have mentioned at the beginning. This is a fundamental value, long-term investment approach, and by definition, not a lot of turnover and not a lot of new ideas that make it into the portfolio, for any given period.